Right, we're not going to bother with an intro today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry, but I want to get on to discussing my film as soon as humanly possible, so cut straight to Matthew.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Movies and Milk 30 Day Film Challenge, where today myself and Michael will be discussing the films that we simply could not live without. Of course there are many films that I do depend on to uplift my mood, and equally films that I could just never personally imagine never having existed. And yes, this is a Christmas jumper, and you'll find out as to why I'm wearing it just in a wee second. The title that I've chosen today was in fact a coin flip between two films that I just couldn't decide on which one I wanted to discuss in today's video. However, I am very glad that I'll be discussing this film today. I am talking about Frank Capra's 1946 masterpiece, It's a Wonderful Life. It's a Wonderful Life follows George Bailey, who has many aspirations in his life. However, due to his undisputed kindness and affection for other people, he always puts people before himself. The tensions grow as the film progresses. George Bailey slips into a depression, he slips into stress and all the other things that we have been accustomed to sometime in our lives. And the film does convey suicidal ideations, which particularly is a very heavy subject even in today's age. However, back in 1946, this was something that wasn't as talked about as much. It certainly wasn't as a big subject as the magnitude as the topic itself now generates. But bearing in mind this was released in 1946, which was just after the war, and of course PTSD was a massive thing of the war and a lot of the troops suffered from this. Not to mention that Jimmy Stewart, who portrays George Bailey in the film, was in the war himself. So this, at the time of release, would have been something that was relatively new to audience members. For by the film's very heavy subject matter, this is a very enlightening and inspiring film, which by the very definition of the title today, it's a film that I just couldn't live without. Whenever I'm feeling grummy or down in the dumps, or I'm feeling particularly depressed or anxious or whatever it may be, this is a film that I always enjoy to revisit, and 10 times out of 10 I always leave feeling very much inspired. Jimmy Stewart is also my favourite actor, but his performance in this film is second to none. I think this is one of the greatest performances of all time. He expresses the magnitude of depression in such a fantastic and convincing way. It's just overall a very fantastic performance, and one in which that evokes multiple personality traits. He was certainly, in my opinion, the greatest actor of that generation.
Well, then you could swallow it, and it'd all dissolve, see? And the moonbeams would shoot out of your fingers and your toes and the ends of your hair. Am I talking too much?
The film was nominated for 5 Oscars, all of which were just nominations. It's a Wonderful Life never won a single Oscar, which is a crime if ever I heard one. And if we're discussing performances, I mean, Donna Reed, what a handsome woman. She's such a beautiful woman and equally a fantastic actress. The relationship between George and Mary in this film, portrayed by Jimmy Stewart and Donna Reed, is a prime example and one of the most earliest examples of a fantastic romance on screen. And of course, not to mention, It's a Wonderful Life has one of the most iconic endings to a film in history, where George Bailey is reunited with his family after his suicide attempt, and the townspeople harmoniously join the Baileys as they sing Auld Lang Syne together. It is just such an incredibly heartfelt moment, and it always makes me cry tears of joy. If you haven't seen It's a Wonderful Life, do yourself a favour, check it out, feel inspired, feel encouraged. It is an absolute guarantee that this film will cheer you right up. Back to you, Michael. Just before we go back to Michael there, I would just like to include that It's a Wonderful Life can be watched any time of the year. You don't have to wait until Christmas. So why did I wear a Christmas jumper?
Right, thank you Matthew, I'm not going to bother beating around the bush. It's Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Oh! There, darling. There, darling, you're alright. You're alright, you're okay. See you stupid bastard. There. Now, if you ever come across a hardcore film fanatic, never ask them what their favourite film is, because it is easily the hardest question to answer. It's like picking your favourite child. However, if I was strapped to a chair and someone pointed a gun to my head and forced me to pick my all-time favourite movie, it would have to be Who Framed Roger Rabbit. This 1998 Robert Zemeckis feature focuses around the character of Eddie Valiant, a down-on-his-luck, alcoholic private detective who holds an extreme prejudice against cartoon characters after his brother was tragically killed by one.
Thanks. Toon.
However, this reluctant detective must push his prejudices aside in order to help clear the name of cartoon star Roger Rabbit, who has been framed for the murder of Marvin Acme. And just from beginning to end, this film is flawless. So just like when Matthew was discussing The Exorcist back in day 13, I could go on about this film for hours. It's a very weird comparison, but Who Framed Roger Rabbit is My Exorcist. So I can make a full feature-length video about this movie, but I'll just give you the simple bullet points of why I love this film so much. Firstly, I brought this up back in the Oscars video that I done earlier this year, but one of the things that I just absolutely adore about this film is its mesh of different genres and tones. I don't know how this film was able to achieve this without it becoming a tonal mess, but it pretty much showcases every single genre imaginable. There's drama, there's action, there's romance, there's a couple of musical numbers in there, and there's also that one infamous scene that is plucked straight out of a horror film.
Not to stay tuned! Remember me, Eddie?
Yeah, I watched this movie for the first time back when I was 3 years old, and I never watched it again until I was 13, primarily because of that one scene. And all of these elements come together to make one of the best film noir comedies out there. Now, not every film is perfect. This film does have a couple of flaws if I were to nitpick. There's a sequence in the latter half of the movie in which Eddie Valiant goes to Toon Town and the green screen is a bit dated. And there's also the fact that you can kind of tell who the main villain's going to be as soon as the character is introduced. But this is a noir film that doesn't really focus on the mystery, it's just a thing that gets you from point A to point B. And instead it manages to keep the audiences invested with strong characters, an excellent soundtrack, beautiful animation, and like I said, the ingenious way in which it's able to incorporate many different genres. But then there's also the film's message, a message that talks directly to me, a message that I like to live by in my daily life, and that how sometimes in life laughter is the only weapon that we have. And I think that's a message that the world can definitely be doing with, especially in today's climate. So yeah, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, if you've not seen this film, do so. Do so, just do it for me, please. If you've got a Disney Plus subscription, the film is on there, so you have no excuse. And with that, I'm going to draw my little review to a close. We really hope you enjoyed, and remember, smile, darn ya, smile. You know this whole world is a great world after all. Make life worthwhile. Come on and smile, darn your smile. Yes, I know that song off by heart. So thank you so very much for watching, ladies and gents. If you enjoyed, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and tell us in the comment section down below what is the one film that you just couldn't live without. And also, if you wish to take part in this 30-day movie challenge yourself, you can find the template over on the Movies and Milk Instagram. It's that simple. So until next time, stay safe, don't do anything stupid, and we'll see you tomorrow. Now if you'll excuse me, I'm going to watch Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and you should consider doing the same.